Bandidos, what's happening? It's Tux and we're live on Saturday night, and I'm glad to be back to Saturday nights, that is. I was sad to have missed you last week, but here we are, ready to get the party started again. Before we get too far ahead of ourselves, let's just make sure I'm coming in loud and clear. You guys know the routine. And that routine is, in case you are new to the stream, give me a hashtag TuxLive if you can hear the words that are coming out of my skeleton teeth. Can you hear me? Give me a hashtag TuxLive. I appreciate that. We'll get the party rolling from there. But welcome everybody who's jumping in, joining the stream. Appreciate you guys. Another late night, Saturday night with Tux. I like the Saturday night streams. It's one of my favorites. Faux show. Both these builds destroy your words. Funny man. All right, there we are. AP, appreciate you, bro. Destroyer, thank you. Okay, so it sounds like I'm coming in loud and clear. So this is what's on the docket tonight. All right, so what we got going for us is the ultimate Wingman build, the original one, all right, versus the OG healer build, which was the original healer build before Future Initiative. So I'm gonna show you both of those builds, and then we're gonna jump into some legendary gameplay to see which one's better for legendary gameplay, for matchmaking, for random group setups, that dealio. All right? But yeah, a little housekeeping. But before we get into that, let me just say what's up to those who are in the chat. So say hello, let us know where you're from. If you haven't, Availing Powers, what's up again? Rob, good to see you, good playing with you today. The Angelican Priest, I'm glad you caught one. And this is, I think the first live stream that I've seen you on, but I'm sure you've caught some on the replay. But good to see you here, brother. Biko, Mr. Loyal, what's up, man? Good to see you. And Destroyer of Words says, well, let's see what he's got to say. I like the Wingman, so I'm not concentrating on watching others. I just see red and I pop my shield for sure. Also, we are live streaming right now to both YouTube and Twitch. So say what's up to your boys on the other side of the world, or platform, that is. But what up, Sinner? Welcome. Biko, I see you're on both. No, Biko already said hi to you. What up? So you only get one. Just kidding. Sir Night Reaper, good to see you. Good chatting with you earlier, too, on the Xbox. And he says, what's up, Bandidos? So Sir Night Reaper is one of the Xbox clan members. Throughout the stream, if you are in an Xbox clan, it is helpful for you to drop a hashtag TuxClan in the chat so other Bandidos know who you are. And that way, if they're interested in also joining a Tux clan, they know who to parlay with. I did mention, and as promised, we have a little bit of housekeeping. First off, if you like what I do and you want to support me, make sure you hit the like on this live stream right now. And subscribe if you haven't. Appreciate that. And then members of Tux's Players Club, and you know who you are if you're on YouTube right now. You got that fun, cool little skull right next to your name. And yeah, a couple things for you guys. So if you're on a hardcore level, like the Angelican Priest and Biko, then your digital download just dropped yesterday. I think that was yesterday. So if you need to know how to access that, which then let me drop a link actually. And so this is technically anybody from anybody in the Players Club can access these links. So when you click on the first one, it's going to take you to my YouTube homepage, all right? And right at the top, there's a members only playlist. So if you're a member, you can get access to the content inside there. And depending on what level of a member you are, you're going to get access to different types of content. But what I wanted to highlight right now is for you hardcore members that the Gamer Music playlist just dropped yesterday, and I invite you to check that out. And again, you can stream it on YouTube, and then you can stream it and download it to listen to it offline on SoundCloud. So the links are inside that video. So I invite you to check that out. And also the second link is to head over to Discord to make sure you check us out over there if you haven't done so. Paul Schofield, Adelaide in Australia. What's going on, brother? What's going on, Paul? Who else is with us? Mr. Detective, Xander. All right, we got the boys in the house. Rob, I can't help but stare at your skeleton that's dipping there. The Story of Words is spending time in the DZ. He's earning his stripes and getting gear. Pico says over there on YouTube that the new place is really good. The new playlist is really good. He's liking it. I'm liking it too. So if you like the music that's you hear on my live streams, then you're gonna like the gamer playlist that I create for you. They're at a beat that helps you kick ass. Robert Saezco, he says, hey Tux, love your content. Actually enjoying the game due to your builds. Finally got to watch you live streams. Keep it up. Yeah, appreciate it. I'm glad you made this one, man. Yeah. So Saturday night streams are my favorite. And so we're going to get the energy up in here. We're going to show some good gameplay. We're going to cover a couple of builds and just chat it up, man. It's Saturday night. Saturday night. Let's kick it. All right. So we got two really good builds, all right? Let's run through them real quick. Talk about the details. So the first one I got equipped already, and it's called, okay, I got to get rid of these flags because they just stand out to me. I'll keep that hazard protection. All right. So this one is called the Ultimate Wingman. Now, a couple of days ago, like 2 days ago, I think, I did a live stream on the Ultimate Wingman Part 2. So this is the original Ultimate Wingman. Okay, so we're going back to this because I want to do a head-to-head on the original, which I do think is the stronger of the two Wingmans. And that's because it gives a lot of buffs, and we're going to get into that. And then we're going to compare this with basically the OG healer build, which is this one. Now, this is like technically the strongest healer build in the game when it comes to heals. It's all out heals, all right? And it's also a really good healer build if you don't have the future initiative chest piece. So basically the idea is that if you're gonna run future initiative, you have to have the chest piece in order for that to be a good build. And the reason why is because for healer builds, the BTSU gloves are best in slot. You need those to refresh hives. So we'll get into a little bit of that. But so this is a head-to-head battle on which is the best for a 4-man group on Legendary. Okay, and so we're gonna let the gameplay footage decide that. And so as we play, I'm gonna be switching back and forth between the two builds, and I'll let you know when I do that. What's up, Hungry 40s? Welcome to Tux's Players Club, by the way. You too, Robert Saez. It looks like you recently joined, so welcome. Base Connor, good to have you, man. I'm glad you made it. What's good, TuxedoBandido, he says, over on YouTube. And let's say what's up to our boys over on Twitch. So what's up, Dutchy RL, my boy, also Mr. Gods, good to have you, brother. Hey, while I remember, if you are on YouTube, make sure you head over to my Twitch and follow me over there, all right? So we can't, let me just make sure my settings are right here. We can't have subscribers yet because we're not an affiliate status yet, but we're working on that. So anyway, so yeah, we got a dual audience tonight. We are streaming on both YouTube and Twitch, trying to grow our Twitch side of things as well. So I appreciate you guys for all for supporting that. And so follow, like, subscribe, do all the goodies. Okay, so let's do this build run through real quick. And if you got questions, you know what to do. Make sure you start it out with the word question so it grabs my attention, all right? And then I'll try to get to everybody's question as I can. But don't be afraid to use the super chats. I appreciate the support there as well, but it's also a way to get my attention. Okay, so This is built around, okay, so the idea of this, okay, let me just spell it out real quick. So the concept here is that this is all designed around the idea that healer builds are overpowered for legendary. Basically, there's too much heals, and so because of that, you got diminishing returns on how much your team really needs of heals, and whether you're really making the most of your build and your squad by running a future initiative or the OG healed build. So I came up with this Wingman concept, which is a hybrid healer build, okay? So the idea is to give your teammates so much bonus armor and so many perks and buffs that they don't need as many heals. But when they do take damage, you do have the healing power to also heal them up. But that they're not too reliant on heals. And the reason why I think this concept is really good and might be the better one for legendary missions is because a lot of people come with their own defense built into their builds. Like somebody will come with like Hunter's Fury and they have 20% armor on kill, or maybe you come in with like one of the 8% armor regen builds, or you come in with Slaughter or Game Over and you were in Foundry, or something like that, right? So there's people come in with their own survivability, and the developers have given us gear that basically allows us to do that. And so we all have these well-rounded builds. And so when you have a big healer that's just a healer, he's sort of like, these guys got their own little healing situations going on. So healer's nice, it's a nice in addition too, but it's also waste. It's also waste because you're missing all that DPS to the squad, right? So this is sort of gonna, I think, help synergize with players that have some survivability already inside their build, which is most of everybody, right? Most of everybody. So, but even if they don't, then this is great. This is perfect. So, okay, so it starts off with 4 pieces of True Patriot because we're after that red, white, and blue buffs, right? So we get ammo capacity and magazine size, but we don't care. I mean, it is helpful because I'm using the Scorpio shotgun, and I'll tell you why we do that in a minute. But so for the red, every 2 seconds, enemies you shoot receive a stacking debuff for red, white, and blue, right? Okay, so red, when they get the red flag, it amplifies the enemy's damage taken by 8%. So you're giving your whole squad amplified damage. White, shooting the enemy repairs the attacking agent's armor by 2%. So if they have the white flag, then that means your squad is getting armor regen when they shoot that guy. And then blue, decrease the enemy's damage dealt by 8%. So that's like protection from elites, except it's protection from everybody. And so when the enemy's got all 3 flags, when they die, it creates a 5-meter explosion, damaging everybody around them, right? Which is kind of like the Regulus. So the idea here is to use the Scorpio shotgun, okay, to apply a status effect of disorient and shock, and also give an additional 20% damage from all sources. So you're basically giving your team 20% more damage on top of that, right? The status effects are important, okay? Because it's the status effects, the Confuse and Shock, which is the 3rd and the 6th round, that procs Galvanize, which we're running on a backpack. And this is an Alp Summit backpack with repair skills, lots of repair skills. So this is gonna get 40% of our armor as bonus armor. So, and there's no cooldown on this. So that's a lot of armor. 40% is about 500,000, 600,000, so between that amount. So that's a lot, and there's no cooldown, right? So your allies just have to be in range. So basically what we're gonna be doing is just targeting the closest enemy to our homies, and we're gonna be giving a bonus armor from that, okay? So basically on the True Patriot pieces, all we got is armor and repair skills, and I forgot to roll that one actually, and I forgot to re-roll that one too. So as a matter of fact, I've been playing with a crutch, but these should be stronger. I could have put on more armor there, so that's funny. I totally forgot to do that. But either way, it worked. We got 1.2 million armor, but it's probably like 1.5 million armor on here. So funny enough, I just now caught that. My bad. I'm moving too fast. Anyways, and then the chest piece is important. So we're running Gilligard, which is giving us 5% more armor. We want a lot of armor. The more armor we have, the more bonus armor we're giving to our homies. And so we got core attribute of armor, and then we got double repair skills, and then perfect Vanguard. So when we pop our shield, it makes it invulnerable for 5 seconds, which is important because sometimes we act as a true tank to help get our homies up when they go down, and also to block flanking enemies or to get somebody out of cover. But we're gonna give 50% of our armor as bonus armor to all allies for 20 seconds with the 25-second cooldown. So that's another 500,000, and that's happening again every 25 seconds. So we're gonna pop the shield and get everybody nice and healthy. So tons of bonus armor all day long, and then remember, they're getting armor regen, they're getting amplified damage, and they're getting protection from enemies on top of that, right? That's the true patriot. And then, but if they do take damage beyond their bonus armor, then that's where our heals are gonna kick in. And so we're giving 331,000 heals per basically drone, which isn't the strongest healer in the game. But remember, this is about bonus armor. This is about preventative, right? It's about allowing your team to play more aggressive. If you see a grenade flying at your enemy, at your homie, you pop your shield and you give him 500,000 bonus armor. So, and then they got regen and amplified damage. So this is some more balanced healer build. It's got everything. It's got everything. So, okay. So, and last thing is that we're running survivalist because that gives us 15% more heals outgoing. It's also giving us 10% protection from elites, but more importantly, it's giving our team 10% more bonus damage to status affected enemies. And we're given status effects because of the shotgun. Isn't that nice? And then we got a bulwark shield. I should show this. It's about 13.5 million in health. So not the strongest shield in the world, not the weakest shield in the world. It is a tier 6. So it is really strong. It'll last. But it is not a true tank build where you can stand there all day long with 3 chungas in front of you. Okay, so that's that. So that's the Wingman. That's the original Wingman. And it's going to be up against the OG build. Okay, I'm going to go over this real quick because it's a healer build. So it has everything you would expect. We're using Survivalist. And I'm now using the Marine Super 90, and I'm using Reformation that gives us 30% more skill repair. And just a single tiny little pellet will proc that, all right? I'm using the Chill Out Mask, which is triple repair skills on it and the skill tier. So really nice mask to have. I'm glad I have that. I'm running the Murakami Industries backpack, and I have Safeguard on it, which really makes us OP. So that's giving us 100% more skill repair. You will not see that on the stats, okay? So, but it is in effect when I'm at full armor. And then skill repair and skill haste everywhere. And then for the chest piece, I am running an Alp Summit, lots of skill repair on it, and then kinetic momentum. I want to keep this a true, really strong healer build. This is basically the strongest healer build in the game. And then we got kinetic momentum, like I was saying, which has 30% more skill repair going out to each of our skills. So that's a ton, guys. This is a ton of heals. So I'm running improvised holster and improvised knees. They look exactly the same. They both have repair skills and skill haste. But I do have another a Murakami. You could run a second piece of Murakami. It's the same thing, and that's going to give you more repair skills and skill haste. So it's just like running an improvised piece there. And then if you don't want to run improvised, and you don't have to, just put a Hannah U here, okay? Hannah U with skill haste and repair skills. You're going to lose a little bit of repair skills for skill haste, but at least you don't have to go out and get a new improvised for this build. Now, best in slot piece is going to be the BTSU gloves. These are really important because they're one of the perks of a healer build is that you got the ability to give your homies overcharge, which is going to reset their hives and boost all their skills. Basically, you know what it does. So if you're gonna run a healer build, a true 6 yellow tier healer build, you got to run the BTSU gloves. You just have to, right? So earlier we did a comparison between the healer build and this, which is the future initiative setup. And like I said, because BTSU gloves are so vital, that means you have to have the future chest because you don't want to run the future backpack. The future backpack is kind of junk. So if you don't have the future chest, there's no point in running future initiative. Just run the OG healer. Okay. Now, some people run opportunistic on the backpack, and that's okay. That's just a different way to go. It's another way to go. And same with the chest. You can also go empathetic resolve and give your team more damage. The reason I'm running it this way is because I wanted it to be the strongest healer build in the game to prove the point. Okay, so there's a few variations you can go with this build, but that's why I have it set up the exact way that it's set up. This is a stronger healer build than Future Initiative, all right? But the good thing about Future Initiative, if we look at it, is that the second part of ground control, if you look deep into that, it says when you repair an ally, you and all allies within 5 meters of you are also repaired for 60% of that amount. So it's basically a passive healing. And the point of that is that you don't actually have to use your heals to heal. You heal one guy, then you can heal another guy for 60% of that amount, as long as he's within 5 meters of you. Now, 5 meters isn't very far, but let's just say that happens half the time. So what that ends up doing is basically spread your heals out wider for a longer period of time, makes them last longer, basically. So you don't run out of your hive too often. Now, I believe for a 4-man group in Legendary, you don't need that. It's really rare that you actually run out of heals. So rare, it's not an issue. But when you're in the raids running it with an 8-man group, then that could be really important. Does that make sense? And listen to my boy Anthony DeMar, and don't forget to hit the like button right now. Subscribe if you haven't, and follow me on Twitch. Also, okay, so that's that. So, and then, let me show you the heals on this. So the heals on this is 1.6, that's base, okay? So that's before kinetic momentum, before the 30% from the shotgun, before 100% from safeguard. So, so that's hitting at 1.7 million. I mean, that's so strong, guys. And we're also going on overcharge with that too. That's so strong. And that's before these buffs. So it's OP, it's an overpower, it's too strong. It's too strong. The healing on the hive is about 500,000 per drone. So really strong. And again, that's before the backpack. So that's gonna push it up to basically 1 million. And then you got the chest piece, kinetic momentum, and then you got the shotgun by another. So these are each given another 60% buff, right? So that's really strong. And then of course, the same specialization. The fire grenades are badass, by the way. It's probably my favorite part of both these builds. So let me go back to the Wingman build. And then let me roll some gameplay footage and then say what's up to you guys in the house. Okay, so this is a random team, match made. We're at District Union Arena. I don't know these guys, we're not on comms, so they probably think I'm a crazy man because I keep switching builds throughout the thing, but it's working for me. So as you can see, I'm running Wingman. So I pop my shield to let them know that I got some bonus armor for them, and of course they can see my hive. So yeah. So let's watch a little bit of gameplay footage, and I'll let you know my opinion on the deal, and get you guys' feedback, and also some key moments that I would like you to pay attention to. But, oh yeah, so I also want to say to you banditos that are in the Players Club, just to do a shout out, remember the Red Foundry build just dropped on Tuesday morning, and that one's red hot. It is a lot of fun, and I hope you guys make it. You probably have many of the components to actually make it, and so it's really well structured. It's actually kind of straightforward the way it's set up, and so I invite you to check it out exactly how it is. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, are the classified secret builds that I make. These are just for Tux's Players Club, and you got to be a true or a hardcore Bandido member level to access these. And these really are extra builds that I make as a thank you for supporting me and the channel, and therefore the entire community, because that's what I do, is I focus on you guys. So if you want to tap into these secret builds, you can get access today by making sure you hit the join button. If you're on the computer, that should be right under the screen. If not, you should be able to see that coming in the chat feed. I'll drop a link for you. So the Players Club is on YouTube, so you do have to have a YouTube account for that to work. So for all my homies over on Twitch, I invite you to come join us on the YouTube, the tuber, be a tuber. Come be a tuber. Come be a tuber. Let's see. I'm gonna see if I missed any questions. So give me a second as I scroll up here. The DUA boss has 40 million armor, huh? That actually doesn't sound like a lot. It's just that you have to break his backpack. That's probably why. And I think the weak point is probably its own. I don't know. You let me know. Destroyer of words. Is the weak point its own thing? Is the weak point outside that 40 million armor? Because 40 million armor isn't that much. I mean, think about it. If I'm hitting at 1 million, which many of my builds do, then I should only take 40 rounds to take him out, right? That would be really easy, but it doesn't. It takes a 4-man squad and a lot of arm wrestling. So pushing a little forward here. So again, I'm the wingman build, so this is not a healer build, but I'm spreading out those buffs so these guys have more damage. So I threw out a few fire grenades to get those drone operators down. So I'm trying to protect my homies, right? And the drone operators are the biggest threat. So basically, if you don't rush the rushers and the drone operators, then you're just gonna get hammered by them. So if you try to play this more relaxed, and the deeper you play Legendary, the more trouble you're putting yourself in. You gotta play it tight, you gotta play it mid-range. You want those guys to be within 15 to 25 meters of you at all times. If you go outside of that, so you see I just saved Rusted right there? That was a key moment. Let me pull that back. Let me pull that back a quick second. Watch Rusted in the back corner there. He's in the back corner where my reticule is. Watch. Actually, it'll come at 3:53, so we got about 30 seconds before he gets there. Traveling back in time. But, yeah, like I was saying, you know, it's all of this is about neutralizing these drone operators and everything. The tanks and the drone operators, right? Outside of that, the whole thing is pretty easy. So this squad gets it done. And so what I'm trying to do with the wingman build, that's what I'm running, which is a lot of fun. But look at, is just to spread that true patriot flags everywhere, right? I'm trying not to, I don't need to be a killer. Watch Rusted, watch Rusted. I was like, oh shit, he's almost dead. I'll pop my shield, boom. Look, he got basically all his armor back, but in bonus armor. And so now he's got to come back because I got my heals over here, right? So now he's going to run through my heals and we'll get him healed up. And that's how the wingman build works. And then besides that, I'm going to give him more heals through Galvanize. So I invite you to look at the bottom right corner of my screen, bottom right, bottom right, bottom right, bottom right, and watch everybody's bonus armor. So what just happened is because we played aggressive, the White Tusk went back on their heels, right? So they ran away from us. And so that's why you gotta play Legendary semi-aggressive to aggressive, because they don't know how to, they fall back a lot. Even the Chungas will fall back. But also is having something to take aggro. Notice, like, you know, playing Legendary basically without turrets is really difficult because those turrets are important in taking aggro. But look at everybody's bonus armor. Look at all that bonus armor, bottom right corner. You see that? And that's why that allows them to stay out of cover and shooting more, putting out more damage, because we're basically giving them an invisible shield, right? And that's what Wingman does. Where heals is retroactive, right? Big difference. And so, and I think that it changes the way people play, right? It really does. So when somebody has bonus armor, they're like, cool, I can be more aggressive. But when they don't have bonus armor, they're gonna play more timid, and then when they take damage, they're gonna get heals, which are gonna help them feel good, but they're not gonna play more aggressive per se. So bonus armor is like doubling everybody's armor up, right? So I mean, if you had 2-3 million armor, right? You're probably, which is what I'm giving them, 2 to 3 million armor, then you would probably be a lot more confident. And I think that's what Wingman is big advantage of, is that it's what is the word I want to use? It's not retroactive, but I don't know what the word I'm trying to use, but it's it basically gives the guys more initiative. There's a word I'm thinking of, and it's not popping in my head. Hungry 40's just completed my first legendary mission in District Unit last night with Contender with the homies. It works, but the boss has so much armor. Hey, Hungry 40's, were you using Oh, what did you say? With the contender. Oh, okay, okay. So you was using the skill True Patriot build, which is a lot of fun. Actually, you know what's funny? This GMB Pinoy is using my contender build. The third guy on the roster there, GMB Pinoy. And Pinoy means you're Filipino, apparently. I know that because I have Filipino friends. But yeah, so I check out everybody's builds, you know me. And I noticed he was running the contender build, and I was like, oh, cool. And so when I run the True Patriot build, we are stacking on those flags. So we're able to pick up on each other's flags and complete them. Is basically what that allows you to do. Galvanize. There's a song Destroyer of Words is publishing here. Explosions rule everything around me. EREAM. Get the debuffs. Galvanize, y'all. I'm not sure I'm doing it to the right beat though, right? Galvanize, y'all. Is that how it's supposed to go? So Robert says he's trying to put together the tardigrade hardwired galvanized build. Yeah. That one's a lot of fun. Yeah, and so this one uses Vanguard, which means you have to be a little bit more active with your shield. You got to pop that shield, but the shield is actually pretty handy, guys, because when you got a man down, or you got just kind of an annoying NPC who's hiding in the back corner and you need to flush him out, then the shield really comes in handy. You'll see me use the shield a few times when we have to. Like we got chungas that are trying to flank us and stuff like that. So I'll also use the shield for those moments. So speaking of the chungas, so I popped my bonus armor, give my homies some a little help there. And then from here, I'm gonna lay down the flags. You know how this works. You've seen this a few times, I'm sure. So I go forward to pick up my hive is basically what I was doing. So I could drop it closer to my guys since we fell back. And so from here, what I'm gonna try to do is keep them fresh on bonus armor, right? Now it's their job to keep themselves alive, right? But look at their bonus armor. So, you need to know when to pull back. I mean, if you're taking the full punch of 3 Chunga's turrets, then, you should probably drop back and cover, but for some reason, my healer hive isn't healing this one guy, if you notice that. Some sort of weird little glitch. So I had to pick up my hive and then drop it again because he wasn't getting healed, even though it was standing next to it. So here's a good example of the shield. So I'm going to go forward because otherwise we're going to stay here for like 10 minutes waiting for this jerk off NPC, right? So I'm going to flush him out. And so that's where the shield becomes really handy. Really like that. Proactive. Thank you, Anthony. Sorry, dude. I was duffing out that word, man. I was just like, what's the word of reactive? Proactive. I could not think of the proactive word. Oh, man. I was safe. Yeah. So Wingman is a proactive healer, right? I'm giving people heals before they actually need it, basically. So I'm saying, here's 1 million in armor, so you can take 1 million in damage, right? And yeah, so that proactiveness gives, I think, the players more confidence, is basically. And not to mention, I'm giving them more power. I mean, they are getting amplified damage too, right, from the True Patriot buffs. So, yeah, okay. So I'm keeping on the True Patriot build here. Yeah, capacitor drops are actually pretty rare. So is the memento. I'm reading the Destroyer of Words comic here, and the memento's really a rare drop too. And I'm sure I haven't gotten enough of them, but for those people that are kind of just joining the game and trying to farm that memento, I mean, they really do struggle in getting that, right? I mean, how many comments have you seen online, people saying, I'm still trying to get my memento, damn, it's hard to get. It's like, yeah, wow. But it really shouldn't be, because we only got what? Isn't it just 2 exotic backpacks? The Costa Right? Isn't it just two? The Acosta and the Memento, is that all we have? Can't think of a third one. Which makes me think we need another exotic backpack. What do you guys think? Wild Dog of Crazy World. Welcome to the stream. I think this is the first one that you've caught. And it says, let's see what he's got to say. He's on YouTube over here. So he says, found channel recently. Awesome. 100. Used your Patriot, tweaked it to my style, and it's totally my favorite now. Thanks, brother. You know I got your back. Wild Dog of Crazy World. I'm going to say your name like that every time, man. Just so you know. Wild Dog of Crazy, because it's a whole sentence. Those fire grenades, bro. Those fire grenades. You know what I'm saying? Those things are OP. Look at them suffering back there. Look at it. Yeah. So both of these builds have the fire grenades. They come with the sharpshooter specialization. Hey, you know, so they're making some changes, right, to the specializations where we can now, you know, once they make the changes, be able to like carry the skills, the specialized skills that come with the specializations, right? And those you'll be able to wear with whatever specialization you want. Do you think they're going to do that with the grenades? Because I would love to have the fire grenades like with Gunner. You know what I'm saying? Wouldn't that be badass if you were able to hook the fire grenades with whatever build you wanted? That would just change shit up. Wouldn't everybody be using the fire grenades? You know what I mean? Isn't that the best? I mean, you just throw that at a spawn and, you know, peace out, right? Wick the Swede, welcome again, brother. Catching a few of these, I'm glad. We're catching your time zone. Yeah, he says the Contender was the first hybrid I worked on and put together. So good. So good. I'm glad I got my homie like Anthony DeMar, who's got my back, helping me with my vocabulary as I draw blanks in live streams. Oh, Fat Cat, your wife is Filipina, huh? Cool. Can she cook Filipino cuisines? I bet that food is amazing. We got a lot of, you know, Asian cultures up here in the Pacific Northwest. A lot of Vietnamese, Thai. Actually, a lot of Chinese, as well as Indian, Pakistani. We got Intel, and they tend to recruit from those countries a lot. We got a lot of Intel campuses, so we got a lot of the Chinese, Indian, Pakistani communities are largely based because of here because of Intel. Probably the Vietnamese Thai too. Probably that too. I hear you, Silverback and Anthony. The Ninja Bike backpack, like in Div 1. We need that exotic backpack. Vote it up. Let's get the devs to kick it down for us. Yeah, Wild Dog says, yeah, he likes it. He likes the channel. Good stuff, good vibes. That's what I try to put down, man. I think we got a really cool community. A lot of positive people here, which you can also find on Discord. You know, so if you're not there, Wild Dog, I invite you to head over to Discord, man, because if you like builds, like build connoisseur, like many of us are, and even if you're new to the concept in the game, you know, it's a good place to learn. It's kind of a safe environment where people drop their builds, get opinions, get perspectives, and we try to keep it really positive and also fresh. But, you know, where there's no wrong or bad build, but, you know, if you're seeking advice or you just want to share your build, you know, you could give it a drop and let the community have at it. Michael Myers said, would like better exotic knee pads or other option with gloves. Yeah, I mean, we basically need to catch up on everything, right? I mean, I feel like we could have a lot more exotics than we do. How much of that do you think is like, how much of the delays and gear? I was thinking about this the other day, and it's, you know, that PvP affects so much of the PvE gameplay, you know what I mean? Like, I think they're hesitant to give us more like exotics and stuff like that, and specialized gear and weapons because of PvP, because it really makes things messy over there, right? For the balancing of things. I mean, so much of our changes to the gear, like Foundry Bulwark was originally way stronger than what it is, and then they nerfed it because of PvP. Ridgeway's Pride was technically buffed and then nerfed. Shrapnel traps, you know, nerfed. All of that stuff because of PvP, which is kind of a shame because nobody PvPs, right? And you can't really argue that because even PvPers say that. Yeah, it's funny. I mentioned this in last night's stream. It's just like, it's funny because even PvP hate PvP, but they still PvP. You know, PvP players, and so it's just, I don't get that. It's like, I don't understand how you, because you love the game so much, but I was just watching some, like another YouTuber, I'm not gonna say who it was, but I was just watching some of his gameplay footage and on the PvP side, and it was just a lot of this gameplay footage of him winning, which is cool, but of him going toe-to-toe with another guy while they both had shields. They basically both had shields and assault rifles or SMGs, and they were just like, and whoever could shoot the other guy in the head more would win, basically, or break his shield. And it was the same thing over and over again. Two guys with shields going toe-to-toe out of cover. Two guys with shields going toe-to-toe out of cover. Two guys with shields going toe-to-toe out of cover. And it just kind of looked, I mean, if you really think about it, guys, and this isn't an insult to anybody, but I'm just saying about the game, right? Like, it's, how dumb is that? You know what I mean? So dumb. Would you do that in the real world? Just go, two guys toe-to-toe, shield to shield. I'm better. No, it's just like who got the first bullet in, who got the last bullet in. That's all that it was. And you know that you're just trading wins. But it's just like, you know, that's what's kind of dumb. It's just the same thing over and over again. Two guys with shields going toe-to-toe, out of cover, like dummies. Because it's just not militaristic. It's just not tactical, right? At all. You know? You know, I don't know. I could go on that for a word. But it just made me think. It was just like, you know what I'm saying? When you go and watch some PvP replay footage again, okay, from whoever, it doesn't matter who you watch it from, but think about it from that perspective and how ridiculous it is for you to be for two people to be playing out of cover and go toe to toe with a flimsy little shield that makes you slow, and you know, it's just like, and then watch and think about it from that perspective for just a minute. Put that hat on, and you'll be like, wait, I mean, that's a dummy way of playing. That is dumb. You know what I mean? You know, you see the guy pop out his shield and go, you know, and just kind of try to aim on the head, and they're doing it to each other, and it's just like everybody plays that way in the DZ. Everybody plays that way, and it's just kind of like, how dumb, how really dumb, you know? And of course, guys get smart and they bring along an EMP sticky, and so they can disable your shield, and then be like, you're both dumb. You know what I mean? Like you're getting out of cover knowing that there's a possibility that somebody's got an EMP sticky. Do you really want to be out of cover? You know what I mean? It's just like, no, you should be like a soldier, right? And a soldier's gonna play behind a fucking piece of cover, like a rock or a car, and he's gonna shoot from there. You know what I mean? And then he's gonna move to the next cover, like, you know what I mean? He's gonna try, you know, to distract and then flank. I don't like tank builds in PvP. I just, you know, shields and stuff like that. I mean, I'm gonna get it for use it kind of like Rainbow Six style, like the breach. You use the shield to breach, and then you got your squad in line behind that shield. But nobody ever does that. Nobody ever does that. You know, like the striker shield works. You know, the one that comes with firewall. And I'm not like dogging people. It's not the people, it's the game, right? Because people are just like, well, the game gives it to you, you might as well use it. I totally get that logic. I get it. You know what I mean? But then what ends up happening is, because, you know, if you're playing, what ends up happening is, like, if you're playing in cover and the DZ, then and then somebody comes up on you with the lady death and a shield then you're like, ah, shit, now I gotta run a shield. You know what I mean? So then you kind of put something on to match it up, and now next thing you know, everybody's running the Lady Death, running Intimidate, running Adrenaline Rush, in a shield, right? Everybody's doing that, you know, and it's kind of like, it's annoying. But, hey, yeah. So, Irby Green says, looks good on Twitch. Tell Ultra Mega Man I said hello. Ultra Mega Man, if you're on, are you on? Did you join us today? You did this morning. Yeah, you are on. What's up? What's up, Ultra Mega Man? Did I say hi to you? All the days are blurring together. All the streams are blurring together, by the way. So I probably said what's up to you, but man. But your boy over on Twitch, Mr. Irby Green, says, what up? Yeah, that reminds me, guys. We are so the dual streaming to Twitch is a newer thing, and so we're technically still in testing phases right now. And so if you do experience something unusual in these live streams, then I'd love to know about it, like the quality of the picture, or if you get a lot of lag, or you know, whatever poor experience that could happen. Just let us know. Let me know. Let Latina know. Also, quick reminder that if you're interested in joining one of the Tux clans, we're thriving in a time where clans are dying. Sadly, I don't say that proudly, but it is the reality of the game. So if you are interested in joining, then you know, just raise your paw. Let us know. Also, you can find the clan leaders over on Discord. That's one of the easiest places to track us down. The Latinos dropping links to Discord all day long. All day long. So hopefully this coming Tuesday, I get to pop out the next classified build. I'm really excited. I've been sitting on it for a long time because I want it to be perfect. It's a couple of weeks I've been sitting on this build. Technically, I don't have it exactly where I want it yet, so I'm still looking for this. You know how it is like when you got the build like at its 99 percentile and you're looking for this one piece that has to have all three of these roles, especially like if it's a chest piece or backpack. It can be extremely difficult to get that piece because you already got a good one and you're looking for one to be better than the one that you have. So it has to basically be perfect. It's basically 1 in a million when you farm that way, you know, which sucks. That's why I hate deleting good build pieces. You know what I mean? Like, because one day you're gonna need it, so you only got so much stash space. So yeah, we're running Wingman here. We are running Wingman here, so you know. So that's how you can tell if I'm running Wingman basically versus the OG healer build, because of the bonus armor. So 2 rooms ago, I didn't mention, but I had switched to the OP healer build, and so I found that the OP healer build was the one that I felt like was working the best. Also, I'm sorry, not the OP healer, the Wingman build. I found that the Wingman build felt like was the best. You know, seeing all of these guys with the bonus armor, and mostly for the flags too. It wasn't just the bonus armor, but you know, all the buffs to like their damage and stuff like that is really advantageous. So I definitely relied on the Wingman build throughout this more than I did the OG healer build. But I do switch to it from time to time because I think, well, this room will be a good one. So there's a couple of rooms where I switch to it thinking that having more heals is probably a good idea. So actually, you know, with that in mind, like if you wanted to be ultra prepared and be the real ultimate Wingman beyond your build, as a matter of fact, you should have both builds on file, basically. So look, this is a good way to use your shield. Flush the guy out. So this Grenader is annoying everybody. So I didn't want him to get into cover. I wanted to flush him out. So, because he kept launching grenades at everybody. So one guy can ruin it all. You know what I mean? One bad apple. Fat Cat says, yes, good food. Your wife can cook Filipino, huh? Nice. Philippine cuisine. Robert Saya says, Tate Tux, do you have any PvP builds? Not any recent ones, just because I haven't spent much time in there lately. I do go in there from time to time for very specific reasons, but it's been a good 6, maybe even longer, at least 6 months since I've spent a solid amount of time battling it out in PvP. I do go through phases, but I'm having a hard time finding myself in there. It's kind of a mess. And so I leave it. I don't see a lot of creativity in there either. That's, you know. And I don't know how much room there is for it, you know what I mean? There's just so many variables. It's not like PvE where you're like, hey, I know what the Black Tusk has. You know what I mean? I know what the archetypes are that I'm up against, you know? And so, where, gosh, you don't know what you're gonna be up against in PvP, you know what I mean? You'd go up against an all-skill build. I mean, you tend to go up against Lady Death users, and that's it. And that's sort of why it's just like, oh, well, that sucks. But, you know, what I did like, last time I was in there, I was running the Nemesis, and again, with system corruption, and I was running the Sacrifice Perfect Glass Cannon. Like, I like Perfect Glass Cannon in the DZ, you know? But anyways, I was playing kind of just outside of the battles and just picking off the rogues as they were running by. That was a lot of fun. But no, I don't have anything too specific for you there, but I mean, the way I see it is that you got to spend a lot of time in whatever content side you're creating builds for, or at least I do, because I don't like making junk. I like putting out quality. You know what I mean? So you have to spend a lot of time tweaking things and all that. And it would be difficult to do that and PvE at the same time. I think it's difficult too. But some people put out builds and then don't really thoroughly test them out, and then they publish the builds. And so if you do that, then you got a lot more time on your hands. But you know, I fiddle with these builds until I get them right, and then you know, you got to farm all these pieces, so you can't exactly just put out a build overnight, because you got to go and hunt down the pieces. But ROG Yazoon, boss ROG, what's going on, brother? Welcome to the stream. Welcome on the YouTube side. Says he likes the mask. Appreciate that, man. It's the same mask my little homie wears. A little digital version of me. Oh, you got a 101 DZ manhunt number. That's a good number, man. I'm farming players for my builds, brother. That's better. Yeah, that's a good point, man. Maybe you should do that, Robert. Just go play other guys in the DZ, and then, you know, when they kill you, you can see what build that they were running. And that's a good way to get good ideas. Part of the other thing too is, right, like how all the stats change in PvP, right? You got to know all that stuff. And then there's other nuances, like there's reload bonuses to the Eagle Bearer, but it's not written down anywhere, and nobody ever mentions that. I mean, you know, so you learn those nuances just by being in there. And you're a DZ player only. All right, so you're one of those that we can't figure out. You're like a sadist. That's cool, man. You picked a side and you stuck with it. Truly, be true. Yeah, so AG asks, hey Tux, will you play Heartland when that comes out? Yeah, yeah, definitely. Actually, I was saving myself for Heartland for the PvP, and that's where I was gonna expand into the PvP. And then of course they delayed it. So we would be there already if they hadn't delayed it. Oh, by the way, guys, I did switch to the OG healer build. So here's an OG healer build, and I'm gonna be running it for at least the next 2 rooms. Because I decided, yeah, like when we go into the mall, that's a good place to use the heals instead of bonus armor, because you know you get clucked with those grenades, so much of those grenades, more than you can proc the bonus armor, because the guys that are chucking the grenades, all the enemies technically are in different floors. You'll see that in a minute. So I realized like they're gonna be too far away from galvanize, and then also really hard to hit because they're in weird positions and angles, but they're still able to hit us with grenades. So I figured going with the OG healer is probably better for the next 2 rooms. Like I was saying though, if you want to be a true wingman, like beyond the build, then actually having the OG healer build and the wingman build and being able to flip back and forth to them is really, really good. It makes you even better at your job. As a matter of fact, it's really easy to do that too. There's like no cooldown issues or anything like that. It's basically just the chem cooldowns you're up against. But switching back and forth was never a problem, never delayed. RG says, Yazun says, man, I hope I see you in the DZ. I don't know, man, you might be killing me if I go into DZ. Will you be my friend or will you be my frenemy? Yazun, will you be my homie or will you be my frenemy? Let me know. Which platform are you on, Yazun? Are you on a computer or a PC, or are you playing Xbox or PlayStation? We have clans on all 3 platforms. We recently opened new clans on additional clans on PlayStation and Xbox. So if anybody's looking to find a new clan, you're welcome to raise your paw and let us know, and clan leaders or members will hook you up. Phew, gotta sneeze. Gotta sneeze. That was a warning. Crazy Pit's got a question from us over on YouTube. He says, question, what was the True Patriot chess piece? What was the True Patriot chess piece? Oh, okay, you're saying the Wingman build chess piece? Yeah, I'll give you a visual of that. So here's the Wingman build, right? So the chess piece is Point Man, which is with perfect vanguard, which gives you 45% of your armor as bonus armor for 20 seconds with a 25-second cooldown. Now, you could also run like an Alp Summit here. Like I'm running an Alp Summit backpack. So you could also run like, I mean, if you don't have Alps in the backpack, you can run Alps here, but also what would it work here? Hannah U could work. So you get your heals back faster. Murakami could work. So your hive lasts longer, but that's not usually an issue. You could also do Badger Tough. Actually, that's probably what I would do is Badger Tough. So that you make your shotgun stronger. That's probably the alternative. So if you don't want to use Gilligard, you can use Badger Tough with the non-perfect Vanguard. And what's going to change is you're going to give out 45% of your armor as bonus armor instead of 50%. That's the only thing that changes. Now this build actually has a lot more armor than it's showing. I just didn't re-roll these to max. I forgot to do that. So the reality is that everybody should be probably getting a lot more bonus armor than I'm really giving them. But that's cool. Actually, so what I recommend is running 4 blue cores. 4 blue cores. So that should put you up at probably 1.8 million. Somewhere around there. Hey, that reminds me, let me give you guys a sneak preview of the opening to the latest classified build. I've been showing it off all week, and you guys deserve to see it too. So let's let you take a peek.
Let me tell you why you're here.
This is all about time.
Time gives legitimacy to its existence. Time is the only true unit of measure. It gives proof to the existence of matter. Without time, we don't exist.
I imagine that right now you're feeling a bit like Alice, tumbling down the rabbit hole.
All the explanation you need.
You take the red pill, you stay in Wonderland, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes.
Time is the only true unit of measure.
Unfortunately, no one can be told.
Speed up the image infinitely. disappears. So what proof do we have of its existence? Time gives legitimacy. Without time, we don't exist.
He hasn't taken the pill.
What? There's no time.
I know. He's having a moment.
Come on. It'll be fun. I promise.
So that's a quick sneak peek of the new classified build. It's called Red Foundry. And basically the premise is it's about time to kill and time to heal. And this build's got top tier on both of those. So anyways, I invite you to check that out. Remember, this is on the members only playlist. You can get to it if you just go to my YouTube homepage. But and if you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm talking about classified builds, which are secret builds, and these are made just for Texas Players Club. You got to be at least a true Bandido member level or higher. And these are really extra builds I make as a thank you for supporting me in the channel. So I appreciate you guys. So if you want to get access, just hit the little join button. We're also dropping those in the chat feed too, so. But it's a lot of fun. It's definitely a run and gun out of shield. I'm sorry, out of shield? Run and gun out of cover, no shield build. And so we're just standing here, just waiting for something. I don't know what. But I'm looking around going, why aren't we going? Why aren't we going? Why aren't we going? Why aren't we going? You ever have those moments? Sanders says, I'd take the red pill any day. I'm snorting the blue pills, man. Snorting them. Trying to go back into up the rabbit hole. I don't know, what do you guys, I mean, would you really, I mean, I don't know. I mean, they make the red pill look pretty fucking glamorous, right? Like, you're like, yeah, I'm gonna come out and I'm gonna know some karate, right? I'm gonna kick some ass. But, you know, the reality is that, you know, you're also gonna be sucking on some like slime, weird oatmeal type food all day. You're not, you know, there's no food. You know what I mean? Like, you're gonna live in some metal clunky hovercraft. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, what's the bathroom situation like, right? I mean, I don't ever remember seeing any toilet paper. So, I mean, do they got fancy bidets in the future of the Matrix version of the future? What's up? What's up? Are we using bidets in the Matrix? But you know what I'm saying? Like, do you really want to take the red pill? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about you guys. But I think that if I took the red pill and I saw that I was coming out of this weird, you know, human juice, right? That you've been sleeping in. You're basically sleeping in juice made of recycled humans, right? That's basically how they feed the babies, with recycled humans, right? The battery babies. I'd be like, fuck, give me that, where's that blue pill? Put me back in. Put me back in. Put me back in. But then again, you'd be pretty good at karate. But not in the real world though, right? In the real world, you would suck at karate once you took your red pill. You'd be out there and you'd be like weak. You'd be weak, but you got all these plugs in your body and stuff like that. Think about that. You'd be like, I'm weak. Really weak. Notion of Death, what up? Notion of Death, quick question. Blue pill, red pill. Get the fuck one, marry one, kill one. Redwood, red pill, blue pill. Pick. Yeah, so I don't know. And so like if you put yourself in the Matrix actual world, Not Matrix Resurrections world, but like Matrix 1, 2, 3, 4 world, 1, 2, 3 world, whatever it is. You know, in that nasty ass world, would you really, if you knew what the world was like, would you actually take the red pill? Or would you want to go back to being a battery? The red pill. Yeah, the red pill. Notion of Death says red pill. Okay. Okay. Is it because of the karate? Or kung fu? Is that why Notion? Or the access to all the cool weapons when you go back into the Matrix? But technically, all the cool stuff, think about it this way though, right? All the cool stuff that they glamorize in the Matrix is actually blue pill world, right? It's actually blue pill world. So like the karate, the kung fu, all the cool weapons, all the knowledge, that's all blue world, right? I get that the red pill, blue pill is not really a thing, but like, if you think about all the cool things that when they go back into the Matrix, right, and then they have the cool stuff, but when they came back out, when they pulled that metal spike out of their skull, which right there alone should make you wonder whether you want to pick the red pill. Wait, I gotta have a spike in my skull if I choose the red pill? I gotta have a spike in my skull? Yeah, no, blue pill. Blue pill. But yeah, so you gotta go back to blue pill world in order to get the cool stuff, but the red pill reality sucks. I mean, you're wearing some smelly hippie clothes, right, that somebody slapped together in some cave. You're basically a caveman on a hovercraft. A caveman's in hovercrafts, right? That's like boats and hoes. This shit just don't make sense. What up, AP? Wait, AP, availing power. What do you mean, man? There's 2 APs in the house now, so now I gotta be careful. So if I call availing power AP, but now we got another AP in the house. So availing power, what do you mean? What is that? What did Dwight's decision? I gotta know that. What did Dwight say? Dwight's my hero, guys. I effing love Dwight. Who's with me? Like, favorite character on The Office? Go. I want to hear from everybody. Favorite character in The Office? For me, Dwight. He's my hero in and out of The Office. Like, he's my real world hero. I want to be just like Dwight. Grow beets, have a beet farm, have a cousin named Mo that doesn't wear shoes. Wait, did anybody see the one where like Dwight's aunt, I think it was his aunt, died and they had to do this funeral? I want a funeral like that. Like, so apparently, like, I don't know, I don't want to spoil it for you, but like, so apparently in Dwight's family's culture, like, I guess he had an uncle that died, that they buried alive on accident. And so they thought he was dead, but he wasn't, so they buried him alive. So then it is fucked up logic. In order to prevent that, they have this family tradition. So at the funeral, they put a couple of shotgun rounds into the body before they bury it, just to make sure that the person's really dead. Think about that logic. That was like the funniest episode ever. And what's his name was there? The Latino guy. He went to the funeral to see it, and he witnesses the whole thing, and he's just like, his eyes when that happens. Availing Power says Creed. That's another good character. He doesn't get enough love, Creed, right? But some of the shit that comes out of Creed's mouth, like, he's like this mysterious, weird old man, right? Just obviously he had too many drugs, like when he was young. Typhoon, what up? He says, sup Tuxedo Chat. Typhoon's joining us on the YouTube side. Biko says, Dwight, all right. I knew it, Biko. I knew it. I knew that about you. Robert says, Dwight, hands down. Yeah. Yeah, I think he makes that episode, that whole movie. I mean, show. The whole series, Dwight does. The fire alarm one is funny too. Or no. You know what one was funny is when he opens up, he eventually buys the building, right? And then he opens up he ends up opening up a nursery, right? And I think when Jim and Pam are looking for a nursery, they go and like pretend to take it seriously and then check it out. And the person that's running the nursery is Mo. When Mo's like batshit crazy, right? Oh, it's funny. Holy shit. AP, quality assurance. Yeah, Creed's in the quality assurance department. And he doesn't even know what he does, right? Like, he doesn't actually work. Beats by Dre, a beat farm ran by an ex-gangsta. Oh, that's hilarious, man. Beats by Dre. Beat farm by Dre. Dre used to be a beet farmer? Quality. Yeah, he just loved it. He just played himself. A lot of them kind of played themselves, right? Actually. That's what was cool. Like when they did that, like that, when the series ended and they kind of did this kind of like documentary kind of episode on them. Like they were all kind of, you couldn't tell if they were in character, if they were out of character. It was like, yeah, they're playing themselves. So these guys are surviving. So I'm switching over back to the OG healer now. Okay. So, and the reason why I'm thinking that is because, you know, there's a lot of pain in this room, right? There's a lot of grenades. There's a lot of explosives. And then the thing is that those drone operators, they hide all the way in the back. And so I'm thinking like, so my logic thought process here is thinking like, okay, well, in this room, you know, it's going to be hard to get to make the most out of galvanize. And then the shield, proccing the shield every 20 seconds, 25 seconds might not keep up. And so the heal, I'm going to need more heals in this room instead of the bonus armor. And that's basically has to do with the enemy's behavior, right? So I'm thinking about how the enemy is, they hide. That's basically, they hide and they play really deep. And so that's how I'm sort of choosing which build is the best one to run and for which situation. So the healer build is sort of a more generic build that way, right? It's got, you can basically say, well, you know, if all else fails, at least we got heals, you know? So you can play that build that way. But the reality is, like, if you're gonna use both, if you're wondering which one's, let me put it this way: if you're not worried about which one's better per se, but you're gonna run both, then that's how I would make my logic on which room to run which build would be based on how the enemies, what kind of cover and where you are, and like in this room, for example, you're typically always pinned down to the back. Now sometimes we do have builds or players that are able to migrate forward in this room a lot better because they got a lot of experience in doing so. But for the most part, you always get pinned to this back 20%, right? But the enemy is all over the place in the back. You know, they always stay in the back. They hardly ever rush you, right? Only like 2 or 3 players will rush you. NPCs will rush you in here. So that's sort of, and so it's just like the mall. The mall was the same thing. For the mall, like in the first part of it, you know, you got these grenaders on 3 different levels and they're hiding, but they're still able to damage you. And that's just like, okay, so galvanize isn't gonna work in those situations, right? They're too far away and I can't even see them. So galvanize becomes not helpful. And so healer builds for that situation is better to get the most out of all of the build. Of course, you can still run Wingman and just not worry about galvanize. You still get the chest bonus armor and all of that. And you still got True Patriot. But True Patriot's the same thing. I mean, if you can't see your target. And then, of course, like throwing out seeker mines or having a drone track down the enemy is really advantageous, right? So that's where skill builds help. But one of the other things that I hate about running the healer build is that when you have skill players out here, I find that the hive is spending more of its energy healing their drones and turrets than it is the actual guys, right? Your actual players. And so that's also why I like the bonus armor. It's more efficient that way. I'm not wasting my bonus armor on the drone, you know? I'm giving it to who really needs it, which are the players. Don't forget to hit the like, subscribe if you haven't, and also follow me on Twitch. Robert's white hands down too. Yeah, wait. So that reminds me, Destroyer Words says, I hate it when they merged the storyline when they went through 5 different managers. Yeah, that was like kind of an awkward phase, right? But do you remember when Will Ferrell played the boss for a day or two? And then he like had like a panic attack and quit or something weird like that, right? But Will Ferrell, remember? Oh, Will Ferrell is my other hero. He's up there with Dwight, like actually probably even more. Like I love Will Ferrell as an actor. He is absolutely hilarious to me. I love all of his movies. He's like a grown big fat baby man, right? See, do you see how those grenades are kind of like coming out of nowhere, right? I mean, that grenader, like, I can't even see him, but I know it came from the back right over there, the right side, but, like, they feel like they came out of nowhere, so. Now, back left now. Look at that. I mean, just nasty. So the heals are definitely coming in handy with these, because you see, they're hidden. So, like, my galvanized wouldn't do anything over there. Look at how deep that grenader is playing. He's way back there. And so that's a lot different than the beginning, right? Where the grenaders are really exposed and they're always running around and in the open. But there's so many blind corners in this garage that it was really difficult to... Well, it would be really difficult to run galvanize in here. Yeah, the tech company merger story, like, yeah, I know what you mean. That was kind of weird. The last boss was kind of weird too. I didn't like him. You know, that, I forget his name, but the kind of creepy genius guy that they brought in eventually. Yeah, that's definitely when it went downhill. Mr. God says, good night, everybody. On Twitch, from the Twitch side. Good night, brother. Thanks for kicking it with us. Catch you on the other side. Yeah. Destroyer Words is saying, I run hardwire in this room with Seekers. Somebody else last night was saying the same thing. With rooms where you have the hiding drone operators. Robert California. That was his name. Good job, Availing Power. That's right, man. Robert California. Like, what a weird name. Like, what? Robert? That can't be right. Yeah, remember, you know, the episode that does stick out of my mind of Robert California is like, remember when he used to have like this notepad and he would make lists, and then somebody saw his list one day and they just kind of drew, everybody went crazy because they didn't know if it was a good list or a bad list. Like, is it a list of people to be fired? Was it a list of his favorite people? And they were all trying to figure out, like, what are these lists? And then they would change and they'd go back and look and they'd see that a name would be crossed out. Make ink. What's going on, man? Make Yank is running his alternate alias by joining us on Twitch. So yeah, next week, hopefully, talking about classified builds, it's going to be a week of another amazing hybrid skill damage build. So that's what we got. Also be declassifying a build for next week too. So look forward to that. If you're not in Tux's Players Club, you will get builds too. Like you guys always do, of course, you know. Hopefully you're checking out these live streams. Some of them have a lot of hidden treasures in them. So, you know, because I'll get questions and comments from you guys and they'll inspire like a build make on the fly. And some of those builds don't actually get published as builds. Most of them don't get published as builds, as a matter of fact. But they're solid builds, like really good builds that I run all the time. You know, there really are a lot of people joining this game. Like today when I was matchmaking, like, or yeah, over the last couple of days, you know, I got match made with like level 22 and, you know, level 50 and like multiple times. And it's like, wow, there's a lot of new players in this game. You know. You know, and also I think a lot of that is, which is really cool, is that, you know, when they dropped the price in the game, like they did back in, you know, I think it was last year, right? Third quarter or something, where the game was like, they dropped it, I think it's below 20 bucks, right? Or it's at least 20 bucks. It depends on where you get it from. But they, look at, he just walked through that door frame. You see that? But I think what that ends up doing when they do that is it actually makes the game more accessible to people in other parts of the globe, right? Where $60 is expensive depending on how that translates to, you know, where you are in the world. So I think that when they drop the price, that's why we get these big influx of players, not just from the US area side of things, but also in all these parts of the world where it would be actually too expensive. All right, man. Yeah, when you get to that triple digit watch, I mean, I think that's what it's all about, guys. Like, honestly, like if you're just starting the game, that should be your goal, is just to grind it out to 1,000. The world really opens up once you get to 1,000. All the builds, it's so much easier to get your crit chance up. You know, you got higher weapon damage, higher armor, you got more weapon handling, you got a base of hazard protection, you know, all that stuff. So what do you guys think? But what do you guys think about that? Like, no judgment here, but like, what do you think when about like a level 22, level 25, whatever player leading a legendary? Do you know what I mean? Or even playing legendary. What do you think about that? Do you think it's a little too early? I mean, you know, why do you think they're playing legendary? You know, what is the logic behind that? Can anybody tell me? So yeah, actually, so there's nothing really good here, guys. I actually bail on the ending of this because we get glitched out. So I'm gonna let it play, but you're gonna see that we don't actually finish the end boss. Like we get a glitch, like somebody glitches out, things start happening really weird all of a sudden. Like you'll see it happen, and then we lose a player in the middle of the boss fight, and so we got a weird glitch happening here. I actually think there's a maintenance that's gonna happen again. They just had a maintenance yesterday or on Thursday. They had a maintenance on Thursday. It was an unannounced maintenance. I think they have another one happening tonight at like 12:30. But a weird glitch happens and you'll see it happening. Like all of a sudden, like the boss is shooting through walls. I'm taking damage, through a wall, and then all of a sudden we lose a player. And then I go down, and so I was like, I'm fucking quitting. That's a glitch, and plus I ran out of time. I had to start streaming, so. Yeah, I mean, but like, I guess, so like, this is what I'm saying. Like, let me be the devil's advocate here for a minute, okay? And so, because it's kind of irritating when, okay, so I random matchmake for Legendary, and then I jump in, and it's like a level 10 or a level 5, like literally a guy that just started the game today. And so, you know, his builds aren't, you know, our odds are, right, that his builds aren't, you know how it is when you see a new player, right? Their builds are usually all over the place. Even I was like that, right? And so, but also they don't have the watch, right? They don't have the watch, but they don't have the experience. You know, if they're level 20, they don't know how to, all the ins and outs and of legendary, which is fine. You got to learn some. At some point, I get that. I totally get that. But like day one, you're gonna legendary, really? And that's, so you know, like when an experienced player, you know, like over 1,000, I'm not, just at least over 1,000, let's just say, you know, lands in your party, in your group, and he leaves, it's because, look, the odds are when you're playing with a level 20, right? Or a brand new guy, like literally day one guy, like odds are you're not going to finish the legendary. And if you do, you're carrying him, it's going to take, it could be like a 5-hour legendary. You know what I mean? Like 5 hour. And I'm not saying like, you never know. I mean, I'm not judging people by their SHD level. I get that. Even if you have a high SHD level, doesn't mean you know how to do legendaries. I get that. You know what I mean? So I'm not saying that. And maybe he's like the best new player in the world, you know, and he can solo legendary on day one. Oh, sure. But that's rare. It's a big commitment to do legendary, right? Like, it's at least 45 minutes to complete a legendary, right? And so when you got somebody that's right here, here's the glitching. Look at him. Do you see the glitch? Did you see that? And then the guy starts randomly appearing. So let me scroll back to that. I need you to see that. That's weird what's going on here. So let me see, where am I? 58, 50. Let me scroll to this. Okay. So I'm focusing on this guy, right? And the boss is like moving clockwise behind me. Now watch. Watch, I start taking damage from the boss. And then I look at the boss, I'm like, what? Look, he's shooting through that thing. And then I start moving out of cover, and then my homie starts glitching, right? He glitched like 3 times. And then, and then somebody delta'd. I die. How did I die? How did I die? Did anybody see that? Why did I die? Let me go back, because I don't know how I died, right? And so that's why I was like, fuck that, I'm out of here. I didn't have time anyways. I ran out of time. But watch. So I'm healing up. I'm about to use an armor kit, and then I died. Nobody shot me. I'm looking around. That's why I'm spinning my camera. I'm looking around going, who shot me? And now the boss is coming around the corner and he finishes me off. So, what the fuck? I bailed. You know what I'm saying? So, that was weird, but that was a glitch. That's also really frustrating because we lost the guy, somebody dealt it out, and we were at the final boss, right? And so I didn't have the time to sit around and wait for that guy to come back and whatever, and I didn't need to actually beat this, but so that's why that happened. But yeah, so I'm saying no, they're level 40, so they got their watch, and then so they're back to Washington DC, but I think when you get, wait, if it says you're level 22, you don't have your watch, do you? You just happen to be in, yeah, wait, maybe you're right. He doesn't even have his watch, right? Because you'd be at a level 1,000 if you, wait, no. You have your watch at level 40. But when you start with your watch, it shows that you're level 0, doesn't it? Level 1, technically. And then you go 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way up to 1,000. Isn't that how it works? You start back at 0 once you get your watch, or 1. You start at 1 when you get your watch. But yeah, so no, I assume they have their watch, but it's just kind of weird. It's just like, the thing is that it's a big time commitment to do legendaries, and it's like you could seriously be holding the whole team back because you're just not there yet, you know? You're behind in everything, so everybody's carrying you, and the problem is that you can make a legendary take an hour, but because of your mistakes, let me tell you guys, it's always the same thing. The new guy is always the one who's running forward. He's always the one that goes through the door first. It's always like this. Can you guys agree with me or disagree with me here? Let me know. Is it? The question is it? Like, do you experience that the newbie player is always the guy that goes through the door first? He's always the first through the door. And because of that, he's always the first to die. He doesn't know what he's doing. He should be following, not leading. And the problem is that these guys are, I'm landing in a group of newbies, which means he's the leader. He's the team leader, right? That's how we play this. That's sort of the way it goes. Is that whoever owns the mission, like in this mission, Pim Pickle, who's 1300, he happens to be the newest guy to the game, but he's technically the leader of this group, right? And so as respect to that, the rest of us follow his lead. He is always the first through the door. That's the way it should be, right? He's always the first through the door as the leader, or he's the one that at least opens the door. Maybe he's not first, but he at least opens the door to the next checkpoint, right? So, and he's the one that makes the call. We go upstairs, we go downstairs, we stay here, whatever it's gonna be, right? So, how is a new player that's never completed a legendary before gonna be the shot caller, right? He can't. But that's what I'm experiencing, and that's really frustrating for a veteran player to land in a team where the guy's level 22, level 10, he's level day one, right? And it's just like, really? So you decided on day one you're gonna do a legendary mission? You know what I mean? Like, why? What is in this legendary mission that you absolutely need? Are you farming? Because if you're farming, legendary is horrible to farm. It takes it's not efficient. Well, I hear you, Fat Cat, but I can't give him the boot. He's the leader. So I end up having to leave the party, and then you kind of feel rude, you kind of feel judgmental. But the reality is that new players, I mean, I'm being the devil's advocate here, but so please argue with me if you feel differently. But like, I feel like if you're that new, like if you're under 100 SHD, you know, under 250 maybe, you shouldn't be doing legendaries. But you gotta, as respect to other people's time. You know what I mean? Now, unless you're playing with your clan, that's different. Like a clan's different. Like these are people you know, right? These are your friends. They're your clan members. We're not talking about that. I'm talking about random matchmaking. Random matchmaking, legendary, playing with somebody under 100, you know, SHD. That's just like, you know, why are you doing that? Why are you doing it? You don't need to play legendary. You got a lot of heroic and you got hard and challenging content to get through before you get to legendary, right? Legendary is hard, man. This is the hardest content game. It's harder than raids. I invite you to raid. Go raid. You know what I mean? Raiding is easier. Raiding is so easy, guys. Raiding is so easy. Now, I know if you haven't done a lot of raids, it doesn't seem like it's easy, but it is so easy, you know? And that's why there's people that only do raids, because it's so easy. They don't have to think. They're like, I stand here, stare at this door, I shoot the same 3 guys that come out of it over and over again. That's raiding, right? Gazun says, it's not about the clans, it's about the names of the players. True that. I hear you there. No, but I'm just saying, like if you're in a clan, then yeah, I get it. If you're brand new to the game and your clan is willing to carry you through legendary, then, and they probably are, because, you know, when you're playing with your clan or your homies, it's like, you know, it's cool. I don't care. We don't have to finish this thing. That's okay. You know, it's about the conversations and just having fun and just chilling. And also, that's what clans are for too. Clans are there to teach people, right, the game also. The senior players in a clan should be teaching the junior players of the clan things. How to build, you know. So that's the other thing too, guys. Like, what's going on, Resident Clown? You want to see the second character? Do you mean the build? Let me show you the build. But hold that thought, guys. Hold that thought for a quick second about the clans teaching members. So this is the second build. So this is the OG healer build. I think this is what you're talking about. So this is I'm running the chill out mask with lots of repair skills here. For the chest piece, I'm running Alp Summit with kinetic momentum. That's making this, that's what throws this build up over future initiative, is all that extra 30% heals from kinetic momentum. And so Alp Summit. And then the backpack is Murakami. And we got a Safeguard, which is 100% more skill repair. And so I went with that. You can go with Optimist or whatever else. But I went with this because I wanted this to be the strongest healer in the game. Okay? And so for the knee pads, I have these improvised, but you could also run a second piece of Murakami. That's the same thing. So that's going to give you 20% more repair skills. And then I got improvised for my knee pads. And then that was the holster. And so for the knee pads are improvised, but you can also run Hannah U here. That's going to give you more skill haste over repair skills, but it's basically the same. And then I'm running Survivalist. I got the shotgun with Reformation for 30% more skill repair with just landing a pellet on a head. And then the chem on this bad boy is hitting at 1.7 million before the buffs from the chest, before the buffs in the backpack, and before the buffs from the shotgun. Plus, there's 15% more outgoing healing from Survivalist. And the drones here are 500,000 per drone, again, before all the buffs that were mentioned. The gloves are the BTSU, best in slot for healer builds. You got to run this. That's going to refresh hives for the raid. Also, give you overcharge to all the skills, and it's also going to refill your hive when you about to run out of it. So that's the healer. That's the OG healer. So basically what I'm saying is that if you don't have the future chest piece, then you shouldn't run a future initiative healer build. And that's because if you don't have the chest piece, then that means you're going to be running the mask, the gloves, the knee pads, and the holster, but you have to run the BTSU gloves for healer builds, especially for raids. So that's best in slot for a healer build is the BTSU gloves. So that's what I mean. You have to. Yeah, so don't go improvise. You don't need to. It's just they were easier for me to equip. So just go Hannah U on your knee pads and you'll be good. So Murakami and then Hannah U here. You'll be good. You'll be good. So you don't need to do improvise here if you don't want to. It does give you 20% more skill repair by going improvise. So improvise does make it stronger on your knee pads because Hannah U is going to give you more skill haste. But not much of a loss because this is an overpowered healer build. It is overpowered. So the next build is the Wingman here, which is a healer build slash tank build. So it's a combo between healer and tank, and it gives all sorts of buffs. So 4-piece True Patriot for the red, white, and blue flag. So you're going to give them 8% amplified damage. You can get armor regen when to your homies, as well as protection from enemies, 8% protection from enemies. And then the enemies are going to explode on impact, basically. And so you're running 4 pieces with armor and repair skills. I don't have this rolled all the way, but it should be. So really this has way more armor than I'm showing. Armor repair skills, that's basically what you want everything to look like. And then armor repair skills. So put 4 maxed out armor rolls on this and you'll be good. The backpack is Alp Summit, repair skills everywhere, and then I got Galvanize in the backpack. That's really important. So that's going to give you 40% bonus armor to all your homies and yourself. Okay, and all you got to do is apply Confuse or Shock, Blind or Ensnare. I'm going to show you we do that with the shotgun. The Scorpio shotgun on the 3rd and 6th round is gonna proc and Galvanize on the backpack. So all day long you're giving out bonus armor. And then you're giving 20% more damage from all sources. So you're basically giving 20% more damage to your team. And then this Survivalist gives 10% more damage to status affected targets to all your team members. So you're basically, because of the Scorpio, you're giving your team 30% more damage. Okay? Total weapon damage. And skill damage too, technically. So, and then the chest is Gila Guard. It's the named one called Point Man. We got repair skills and armor. And then we got Perfect Vanguard, which is going to give them 50% of your armor. All you got to do is throw up your shield. So you throw up your shield and everybody's got bonus armor. So really cool build. This one I think is a lot more useful for legendary content. But if you can run both of these in a legendary, you're going to have a lot of fun. But remember, it's showing 1.2 million here, but this actually has somewhere around 1.8 million or something like that I just didn't roll that, but I'll go ahead and do that because I was meaning to. So, and I was actually playing like this. The reality is I should have been giving them way more bonus armor than what I was. In the original Wingman build that I put out, I found better pieces, and that's why these ones weren't rolled. But let me do that right now, so while we're talking. But we were talking about something else a second ago, which was that it's important that as a new player. So I was saying that, you know, that the senior players on a clan should be educating the junior players, helping them with their builds, helping them with legendaries, helping them in raids, right? We all agree on that. So, but what I want to say to you junior players is that, you know, when you get feedback, be open to it, because they're just trying to help, you know? And so sometimes people can get a little defensive when somebody says, hey, your build isn't very good. Maybe you could change this and this and this and this. You know, they're not saying that to be mean. Maybe some people don't have as much tact as others, but you know, that is the idea in the game, right? That the senior players on a clan should be passing that knowledge down to junior players. So I ask you junior players to be more open to that. I know, Cat's Meow. I know I'm bad. I totally forgot. I was moving so fast today and I forgot to re-roll these pieces. So the actual armor, let's take a look at where we landed. So it says 1.5. So yeah, 1.534. And then this is almost God roll on there. This is about as good as it gets. So these repair skills aren't God roll, but I'm not going to spend optimization credits on this. It's not worth it for me because this is healing good enough. So repair skills, so max out the armor there, max out the armor there, and then max out the armor there. On this build, it's more important that your armor is maxed out than your repair skills, if you have to make that choice. You want the armor because of the shield, right? The galvanized. So, and Vanguard. So Vanguard's gonna get 50% of 1.5. So that means 750,000 when you proc your shield. So most people are running 1.1 million, right? That's like we've determined to be the average, or everybody's comfort zone. When polled, people said 1.1 million. That's my favorite place to be. So okay, so they have 1.1 million. So we just gave them 750,000 on top of that, right? So they're at 1.85, and then we're giving at least 40% of our bonus armor from galvanized. So 40% of 1.5 is probably about 600,000, give or take. So that puts them at 2.45 million, right? So that means with this build, on average, your homies are gonna have 2.45 million armor at least every 30 seconds. And that's because Vanguard's got 25-second cooldown. So, but there's no cooldown on galvanized. No cooldown, so you can get that bonus armor all day. All day. Without, as long as you got people to shoot at within 20 meters, you're gonna be given bonus armor. So watch the bottom right, look at the bottom right. You can see all the bonus armor on these guys, right? It's a lot of bonus armor. It's allowing them to play more aggressively. It's a lot of fun. Yeah, I'm having fun with this one. So this is the original Wingman build. Remember, a couple of days ago, I put out a different Wingman build that actually uses, what's it use? Hardwired. So you should check that one out too. Actually, let me grab that link while I'm talking about it. Give me a cold second, hot minute, and I will pull up that build too. Cool. So here's a YouTube link to Wingman version 2. It's just different. It's different. It doesn't use a shield. This one is using it's using hardwired with no shield, but it has high armor. And so you're proccing the bonus armor. It's using the Firefly, so it has a crowd control element to it instead. That's why. That's a big change. So I'm blinding, and so when you blind, that procs galvanized also. So that's the crowd control portion of it, as well as the Scorpio shotgun is also proccing galvanized. So we got two things proccing galvanized. And then for heals on that one, I believe I'm using the Hive also. Yeah, so I'm using the Hive to also reset the to use the hack step protocol. That's what it's called, right? Isn't it hack step protocol? Whatever the hardwire version of that is. I'm using anyways. I'm using the Hive to reset the cooldowns on the Blinder Firefly. So. Resident Clown, what's going on, brother? Yeah, the other thing, so, you know, but I guess my point is this, okay, guys? So, if you are going to do Legendary and you're a new player, be the last one through the door, not the first one. Be a follower, don't be a leader. If you're new to the game and you want to play Legendary, okay? That's my advice to you. It's really frustrating. It's always like, we always laugh about it. We're always like, classic new player. He's always the first one to run through the door. He's always the first one to die. You know, because he doesn't know what he's doing. And respectfully, you don't know what you're doing, and that's okay. That's okay. We don't expect you to know what you're doing, but that also means you got to cool it a little bit. Be patient, you know? That's what we've learned in Legendary as experienced players, is we learned that there's good cover, there's bad cover. You know, like if you're gonna get hit by grenades, it always happens in the first minute, and then once the grenaders kind of from there kind of start to scatter about like cockroaches. So like the things like that we know from experience, right? And so you should follow us a little bit, follow us experienced players, and we'll help you out. What is the most underused gear? Underused gear is something not meta. Underused gear, like gear set, you mean? Like the 4 pieces, that kind of thing? The most underused, probably tip a spear? It's probably the most underused gear set. The most underused gear is actually 511, if you're talking about like, 511 is the one that most people despise. Cat's Meow says, yeah, Cat's Meow says, sad, a lot of new players get upset with help, feel picked on. And that's what I mean. And so for you guys that are trying to be helpful, tact, right? You need to adjust your approach. I get it that, you know, sometimes we do things kind of in a macho way and be like, hey, your build sucks, you need to change your chest piece. That's not that constructive. And people, that's gonna like put people on the defense, and then that's when you see kind of puffing up with the chest and whatever, and then the other guy's like, well, you know, hey, I got more experience, man, I'm just saying. It's just like, yeah, but you said it so fucking rude, you know what I mean? Like, he thinks he's got a good build and he's gonna try to justify it. So, you know, you gotta don't put him on the defense, right? So it should be like, you know, hey man, are you open to some build feedback? Because I got some ideas, you know, for you that might help your build out. You know, something like that or whatever. You know, but your build sucks, man. You need to change your chest. It's just like, Jesus Christ, man. You just hurt the guy's feelings. He thinks he's got a good build, you know? But yeah, so it's a two-way street. So yeah, from one side you need to be receptive to feedback, and then on the other side you should have tact, guys, like when you're trying to get build advice, right? Like, or take it, like, and also this is a funny thing, right? We see this happening in the community, right? Where somebody says, check this out, like, hey, I need a good build idea. Anybody got any good build ideas for like the DZ? And then people throw out build ideas and they're like, nah, that sucks. Nah, that sucks. And then they actually get mad. No, man, that build really fucking sucks. Like, I wouldn't even like that build, man. It's like, Jesus Christ, man. You ask for help and then you're like insulting. You're getting angry at people's offering you advice. I see that all the time. Not all the time, actually, but I see that. It's kind of funny, man. It's just personalities, right? Personalities. These are people from different places, from different parts of the world, from all over the place, and you come across some kooky people, you come across some really cool people, But you know what? That's why I love you guys. I really do, because I feel like what we've attracted, the community that we got growing, is really positive vibes, man. Like just all around. I'm not just saying that. And like this community is so much beyond me now. You know, I think that it's become an animal of its own and it's growing all on its own. And you know, I'm really proud of that. You know, of course I planted the seed, but from there, like you guys kind of just took over as a community and just really made this into something so much greater than what I could have imagined. But like, Dr. Hannes, good morning, brother. Good vibes, good vibes, good vibes. Speaking of good vibes, yes, Dr. Hannes is joining us on YouTube. So, yeah, I mean, so like, especially like if you want to see that, like, there's several places you can go, like Discord is a really cool place to be because of that. Like, so I invite you, like, if you're not a Discord user, then definitely do that. start doing that. You know what I mean? It's free, doesn't cost anything, and it's social media app for gamers just like us. But it's really important because this game is really technical. Like, it's got raids, it's got legendaries, it's got clans, and it's also got builds, right? And so if you really want to like get feedback on things or gain knowledge or whatever, then Discord allows for those conversations to happen, right? And so like when I'm not live streaming, like it's hard for us to have conversations, right? Because it's all that's happening are comments and people commenting back and forth, but that's not a quality exchange of information, right? Like this is quality. We're having a dialogue right now. But like when I'm offline, then all of a sudden it's like, you know, Base Connor might have a question and Cat's Meow might answer that. But Cat's Meow would probably be more thorough if she was on a platform that allowed her to, he or her, to give an exchange, a more in-depth exchange. You know what I'm saying? Like a conversational platform, and that's what Discord is. It's a more conversational platform that allows us to segment our topics. And so we have channels for Xbox, PC, PlayStation. We got channels to group up. We got channels to talk about builds. We also got channels for members of the Players Club too. And so if you're in the Players Club, you should definitely be over there. But what's really cool is the build side of things. That's what I really like over there too. I think that's what sets us apart from other Discords, is that we're not just this raid Discord. A lot of Discords are just raid Discords. Like you go there, they'll hook up for a raid, and that's about it. You know what I mean? There's no real conversations happening or anything like that. But on our platform, on Tux's Discord, we're talking about we're raiding. You can group up for raids. You can group up for legendary. You can just hang out with your clan, the Tux clans. Or we also have a build talks area too, where we're sharing knowledge or sharing our builds. And it's like this, guys. It's like really cool. It's not like snotty. It's not like, you know, snooty, you know, nose up in the air conversations. It's like, hey, my name is John Smith, and this is this build I just came up with. I wanted to share with you guys. I'm having a lot of fun on heroic content with it, you know. Or there's conversations where people will be like, hi, my name is Death Destroyer of Words. No, nobody's actually saying that, by the way. But that part's not really said. But, you know, he might share his build and be like, hey, do you guys have any suggestions on how this build could be better, right? And people give that feedback. Or people have questions about, might say like, hey, I see you got the Fox's Prayer knee pads on your skill build rolled yellow, but do you realize that damage to targets out of cover doesn't work for all the skills except for the oxidizer? You know, and you'd be like, wow, I didn't know that. Now I learned, right? And so that's the type of advice you can pick up and knowledge you can gain from being in our Discord. And it's through osmosis too, right? Because you might not be sharing your builds or care to even do that, but you gain the knowledge just by being there, right? By reading the comments and by being participating in channels and stuff like that. So anyways, Discord, man, that's the joint. Go to Discord. So I'm following you. Who was that? Legendary. Yeah. A Resident Clown. Yeah. So actually I was there to make a 511 build and I did that. So, but I appreciate the challenge and I like that you think, I like where your head's at, brother. I like where your head's at, Resident Clown. So he says, okay. Tip a spear then. Tip a spear. Challenge accepted, brother. Challenge accepted. So be on the lookout for a tip of spear build inspired by Resident Clown. I like your guys' challenges, so keep them up. Casimiro says, I'll stick to teaching raids. Kindness gets kindness. Good job. Oh, hey guys, I wanted to let you know that you have the option to buy me a coffee. So this is a way to support me, the channel, the dream, the cause. So definitely not required, but if that's something you would like to do, then I invite you to buy me a cup of coffee. Just drop the link. Appreciate that, guys, if you do that. This is my full-time dealio, so keeping the dream alive. And it pays back dividends too, so you know. I really look forward to boosting this community as much as I can until, not just until, but you know, until we get that new content and beyond, of course. So that new content's gonna come, you know what I mean? It's gonna come, we just don't know when, damn it. But it could be weeks ago. I mean, it can be weeks. We know it's gonna be after February, but when after February, right? I suspect, like, my prediction is probably June. So if they didn't hit the February mark, it's not gonna be March. They're probably gonna, at the earliest, be the next quarter. But it could be as late as October. So, I mean, but I don't have any facts on that. I'm totally guessing. So, you know, no fake news, if you know what I'm saying. No fake news. Do not spread that. Typhoon says, DZ's a blast, only way I play anymore. You've gone that way. You probably got some good DZ gear though, huh, Typhoon? What do you think about the drops you get in the DZ? DZ gameplay aside, right? How do you feel about the quality of gear that you get in the DZ, being that you play only DZ stuff? Do you feel like, you know, like I promote Typhoon, I'm sure you've seen the videos, like I promote named item caches to get the best DZ in the game. Do you agree with me, or just feel free to disagree, about that the quality of DZ gear that comes out of the named item caches is better, reliably better than what you would expect to get from drops in the DZ? Like the death grips, for example. You know, so the named item caches almost guarantee a 75 to 80 percentile as far as on a scale of 0 to 100, and 100 being triple god rolled, right? So the named item caches basically give you 75, 80%. You can get god rolls too, but it's almost a minimum of 75, 80% rolls. But do you feel like you, obviously you're gonna get crap in the DZ and you're gonna get god rolls in the DZ, but on average, do you feel like the DZ exclusive gear that you get is encountered frequently for somebody that plays only in the DZ? And then do you feel like the quality is up there? Like, are you getting heroic legendary quality, or are you getting like normal hard level quality? Do you feel like Typhoon also, is it from the manhunts? Because I like the manhunt caches. I feel like those are pretty good. You know what I'm talking about? Like when you kill a manhunt agent and then like you get awarded a cache, like a DZ cache or whatever it's called. And then you open that, like, you know, I've gotten some good stuff out of there, like a rock and roll and door kickers knocks and stuff like that. I feel like those are good. They're almost like named item caches, you know. Yeah, I'm with you, Typhoon. Like, it's more of a challenge to actually extract. But when you're on manhunts, when you're doing manhunts, you don't have to extract, right? Because you get it in a cache, which is really cool. I like that side of it. Yeah, so like the worst thing, there's two things that I hate about the DZ, and I'll just tell you what they are. Right? Or three. Okay, one is that it tends to be a shield player's paradise. So guys that love shields, I mean, that's what everybody's using in the DZ. That doesn't matter. TU6, TU7, TU8, TU14. That's the Lady Death and the shield. You know what I mean? And it's like, it's just like, that's it. Doesn't matter. TU everything, right? Ever since the Lady Death came out. So that's one thing, because you guys know me, I hate shields. I'm just not a shield player. Not a shield player. So that's one thing that irritates me. Now, it's also a lot of cookie cutter builds that way. But the other thing that I hate is the number one thing that I hate about the DZ. The number one thing is the spawn. And what I mean is that this is what happens. So me and Typhoon are battling out. He goes, me and Typhoon are running parallel next to each other to the next, just randomly, right? And he decides to go rogue on me and then shoots me in the back, basically, right? I don't even know him from Tom. You know, we don't know each other. Like, this happens to me all the time. We're just running, happen to be running. You know, there's like 3 or 4 people all just kind of running in the same direction. We don't know each other. And he just goes rogue on me and shoots me in the back. Randomly, really randomly, right? Like, I didn't insult him. I didn't do it, you know what I mean? It's just, he just decides to go right. There's no logic to it, right? Except, but now Typhoon is feeling like he's got big cojones. Like, he's got the biggest balls, man. He's badass. He's tough. He's like, he's sitting here going, saying, you're a joke, dude. You're a joke because I shot you in the fucking back. You're a joke. You know what I mean? It's just like, you feel like a man because of that? Jesus Christ. And then I was like, okay, so now then he dies. Somebody kills him, right? Sure. And I'm coming out of the spawn, and then Typhoon's mate, who was rogue, died also, comes out of the spawn behind me, and then so I'm running down the street, and then he goes rogue, and he's 10 feet behind me, and then shoots me in the back again. I just came out of the spawn. And how am I supposed to remember everybody's name who goes rogue? I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to remember everybody's name. It's impossible. You know, it's just like, it's dumb. So I get shot in the back as I'm coming out of a spawn. So rogues are coming out of the same spawn as division agents? You know what I mean? Like, I don't get that logic. I feel like it's just like, if you go rogue and you die, you should be on some sort of fuck you timer. You know what I mean? Like some sort of timer that says, fuck you, you can't spawn for like 5 minutes. You know, or you're gonna get spawned on the other side of the map, so you have to run across the globe. Because you were the one that decided to go rogue and you died, so you should be punished. Not me, as the division agent who's coming out, and then you shoot me in the back because you flag up and you shoot me in the back. You know what I mean? It's the spawn thing I'm talking about mostly. You know what I mean? It's not that the fact that anybody can go rogue on you at any time. Okay. I'm talking about the spawn thing, right? Like there's 5 or 6 or 10 rogues out there, right? And all of them are dying and coming back to life and dying and coming back to life. You can't remember all their names. You just can't. Some are leaving, new guys are coming, some are leaving, people are coming. But it's just like you come out of the spawn and then they shoot you in the back and then they feel really good about themselves. You know what I mean? They're like, your build's trash, bruh. Your build's trash, bruh. It's just like, bruh, you shot me in the back. I don't even know you. Who are you? Yeah, you should have an FU timer for sure. So that's what I think. Like, those are the things that that would make the DZ more enjoyable if you weren't getting shot in the back as you were coming out of the respawn point, you know, the checkpoint. And so it's just like, and so one way to fix that is to put you on like an FU timer. Like if you're the one that went rogue and you died, so you should be on this like, yeah, you're gonna have to sit there and twiddle your fucking thumbs. You should think about going rogue next time before you go rogue, and you should definitely not die when you do. You know what I mean? Or send them to another spawn, right? An A and a B spawn. The spawns for rogues and, you know, that kind of thing. Excuse me. And there's nothing wrong with going rogue. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying like the fact that we're spawning at the same checkpoint is just stupid. You shoot me in the back and I don't know who you, I can't shoot you in the back. I can't shoot you in the back because you're not rogue yet, right? So then we just end up standing there. Like if I do remember your name, if I happen to remember your name, be like, hey, he went rogue last time. So let's just stand there and stare at each other and see if he flags up. You know what I mean? And then that's all weird. That doesn't flow. That doesn't flow. Here's your get along spawn timer. And Emily Power says, get along spawn timer. But that's, and then there's the whole stealing the gear thing. I don't think that's good for the game. You know, I think that's, and the reason why is because this is a looter shooter. And so I believe that, you know, it's a matter of time and reality. I mean, the real world outside of the game, right? Like, you know, you might only, as a person that has things to do outside of the game, you might only have 4 hours tops, 4 hours on average tops to play the game, right? And so, and in this game, like, you're looking for gear, you're looking for good gear, good loot, right? It's a looter shooter. And so when you go into the DZ to get some of these unique items that you can only get into DZ, and then you finally find it after hours of weeks of grinding, and somebody steals it from you, and I realize, well, that's part of the game. It's a mechanic. I realize that. I get that. So it's nothing against the other person stealing it from you. It's not about that. But I'm saying that the sour taste in the mouth, like the bad, like the disappointment, the level of disappointment that person leaves the game with is not healthy for the game. You know what I mean? It's just like, dude, like, that was a really unique piece. I've been looking for that for weeks, and I got killed, and somebody stole it from me. Typical, you know. And it's just like, it's nothing about the guy that went rogue. That's part of the game or whatever. But that mechanic within the game, I think, makes the DZ bad, right? And why a lot of people don't like going into the DZ. I mean, so I feel sorry for you DZ players, because that part of the game, that I know that your testosterone goes up because of that, and that, you know, sometimes that can make you feel like a badass. But at the same time, that's why your DZ is failing, is because nobody wants to experience that, because they've all done it. It's happened, and they're like, fuck that, I'm not going back into the DZ. You know what I mean? That was a rare piece. I really wanted that piece, and somebody jacked it for me. And it just leaves a bad thing. I only got 3 hours to play this game. I'm not going to be as good a PvP player as that guy. You know what I mean? I'm not going to go into it's just not worth it for me to go. I'm just going to farm named item caches instead. And now you got one less person to play with. And so if you ever feel like the servers are dead in the DZ, that's why. You understand? Like, it's not the whole, you know, all the other stuff, all the other nonsense and cheating and all that stuff. Forget about that. Nobody really cares. I mean, cheat all you want, you're a loser if you cheat. But like it's that part of it. That actually, that's the main reason. And nobody ever mentions it. Nobody ever talks about that, right? And I don't know if it's because people are afraid to say that they got bad feelings, bad sour taste in their mouths because somebody stole their gear, but that's the reality of it. It's like, if there's so many PvE players that have gone in there and have lost a piece of gear that they got excited about, and they lost it, and they only got so many hours in this game to play to find that stuff, then it's just like, it is such a disappointment. It's such a waste of time. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, I'm not gonna go back in there. You know, it's out of a disappointment, right? It's out of that mechanic. And so I feel like that whole stealing gear mechanic shouldn't be in there. I bet you, if that you couldn't hijack gear, I bet you that the DZ would be way more popular than it is. So that's the thing. You know, I feel like that that part of it is actually removing so many players that know the DZ is a very small community. Do you ever feel like when you go into the DZ, you see the same people over and over again? That's why. As a matter of fact, when I go PvP, I'm not farming because I don't want that disappointment. I would be disappointed too. You know what I mean? So I'm not farming. When I go in there, I'm fighting. I'm not going there looking for gear. You know what I mean? Because I would be disappointed if I found this really good piece of gear and it took me all, you know, I had to clear all of these little landmarks to get that gear. You know what I mean? I finally was like, oh, I got this really good piece of gear. I want this. You know what I mean? When I say that, like, I want this, and then you go try to extract it, and somebody shoots you in the back and then cuts the rope. That's part of the game. I get it. That's a mechanic. Nothing against that human, but that part of it is just like, yeah, I'm not going back into the DZ if I'm looking for gear. which I'm always doing, which is why I never go into the DZ, because I'm always looking for gear, because I'm always creating builds. And so I see the DZ as a waste of my time, because I'm always creating builds and I'm always looking for gear. And so if I feel like the looting part of my looter shooter doesn't work in the DZ, then the DZ is broken and it's not for me. Does that make sense? Is the looter shooter, what do you guys think? You know, is it, when you're into the DZ, is it a looter shooter anymore? No, it's broken. It's all shooter, no looter. You know what I mean? So I don't like that part of it. I mean, if it was set up a little bit differently, you know, then I can see that being a thing. Like, what I mean is, like, you know, like possibly what they're doing with Heartland, or that game, what is it called, The Day Before? Like that looks cool. Like if it was like hardcore mode, for example, kind of like a hardcore mode, I kind of like that idea. Like at all times, you got to watch your back, and you're going into these houses, right? In this open world, the whole world is DZ. There's nothing else. The whole game is DZ. That's how like The Day Before appears to be, right? What I mean is, like, yeah, so you get killed and you get robbed and you lose everything and you're basically back to starting with nothing, and the whole game works that way, right? So every time you log into the game, then your behavior needs to be maximum defense, right? Maximum protection, sneak, sneaky, sneaky. If you see another player, is he a friend? Is he gonna take everything you got? You don't know. You know what I mean? But what I can tell you is not going to happen in that game. You're not going to come out of the same spawn and he's not going to shoot you in the back. That's not going to happen, right? What's going to happen is you're going to encounter each other in an open world scenario, and you're going to wonder if that's your friend or your enemy. And so you're going to have to decide to avoid him or to kill him, right? That's real world scenario, and I love that. That sounds great. But the risk is you can lose everything. If he kills you instead, you lose everything. But that's real world scenario. That's real world apocalypse shit. I like that. So, you know, so that's what I'm saying. So like with the DZ stuff, like it's not about the player, and I get like the mechanics there, so you're gonna steal the gear because you can. I get that, you know, totally. But what I'm saying is like for the average player, you gotta remember this. This is the part, like it's a bigger picture here. The average player is casual. You know what I mean? And so if you're looking to have more fun in the DZ, one of the ways to have more fun is to have more people in there to play with, a diversity of players, right? I mean, is it really fun for you if you're always playing against the same people in the DZ? Is that fun for you? Probably not, right? It gets kind of tired, and that's probably why it gets toxic too, because it's always the same people, and then you kind of start fucking hating each other because you get ultra competitive with the same guy over and over again. But if you had a diversity of players, then it'd be a lot more fun, right? Like, kind of like what Battlefield is. You probably don't get stuck on any one particular player in Battlefield. I don't. You know what I mean? So, but what's keeping people out of the DZ is I'll tell you, it's not the fight. Trust me, it's not the fight. It's the stealing the gear part. That's the part that keeps people out of the DZ. And so if they removed that stealing of the gear, I promise you, DZ would be loaded. You'd probably have to wait in line to get into DZ. The servers would all be full. Even today, in the smallest the division has ever been, the fewest amount of players, I guarantee the DZ would be jam-packed right now. Because, you know why? Because it's a variable game format, right? Every day it changes in there. If you have different players, at least, right? But now you probably go in there, on some days it's probably a ghost server, right? It's just you, and you kind of stand in front of the main spawn waiting for the guy to come out, and as soon as he does, you kill him because he's the only guy you have to kill. You're trying to pick a fight with somebody, you know what I mean? I get it, Typhoon, I get it. No, I get it. I get why people like the DZ. But I'm saying, like, for the average player, they're casual players, and that they're playing a looter shooter. So when you lose a key piece of loot, you're gonna take it differently. You know what I mean? You're gonna take it differently. It's just gonna be, it's gonna hurt more in a way that in a game mechanic way, like I'm just not gonna play that part of the game anymore. It leaves too much of a sour taste in my mouth because I only have so much time to loot. You know, I don't know if I'm explaining that right, but I guess what I'm trying to say is that hands down, I guess if I boil it down to a single salient point, it's that the fact that people steal your gear in the DZ is what keeps the DZ from being really popular, right? And it's also what I think, you know, I think that, so if I think they took that away, I think the DZ would be a more popular place. And people wouldn't care about the cheating as much, and people would probably cheat less, you know? Well, I think the people that cheat don't cheat because they're looking for gear. I think they're looking for bragging rights, right? Look, I got the most kills ever, and that's why I cheat, so that I can say that, you know? Fat cat. I've been in the North Korea, DZ. Whatever. I believe you. He's not lying. He's not lying. That's not a joke, actually. I'm laughing, but it's probably not a joke. That would be cool. I like Wick the Swede's suggestion. There should be a rotating system where one of the 3 DZs is only for PE. PvE DZ would be really cool. Because a lot of us love the shooter-looter, the cooperative. The cooperative side of games, man, I love. Do you remember, like, for me, like, the cooperative side of games that really jumped out for me was Gears of War. I remember that was my first taste of cooperative online gameplay. Now, I'm not talking about local gameplay like Halo, where you invited your friends over and you guys sat down on the couch next to each other and completed a campaign. Although that was fun. But I'm talking about like online cooperative random matchmake gameplay. When that was introduced to games, and for me, the experience that sticks out to me was Gears of War. Like, I never went back. I love cooperative gameplay, and I feel that's what I really like about the PvE side of this thing, is that it's cooperative. We're on the same team, and we're creating bonds, not enemies. You know what I mean? But I don't know. So that's kind of why I like that. But I love PvP. I actually PvP in every game except for the Division. So, like Battlefield, I was really into Battlefield. Battlefield 4 was my jam. I loved Battlefield 4. Call of Duty 2, but I like Battlefield. I liked the Battlefield 4 more. I felt like it was more dynamic. I love doing the Overwatch and getting in those sniper battles. I was badass in my sniper battles, yo. I'm shooting from mountain to mountain and taking guys out on the opposite mountain. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, and then the other thing for me too, like with the DZ, like I feel like it's not fun for me unless I'm going in with a good team, because I think I have high expectations when I go into the DZ. It's just like, hey, we got to play as a squad, you know, we got to be coordinated, we got to communicate, we got to know who we got to be focusing on certain target. You know, the teams that win will focus fire on a single target and pick off the team, right? So when you're fighting 4-on-4, you're like, okay, let's take out this guy, that guy, this guy, that guy, right? And so somebody needs to call out the targets, and then we need to focus fire, we need to stick together, you know. And so when you see one guy going Rambo and solo, it's just like, that can be really frustrating. Or when you get abandoned, right? And all of a sudden it's 1 versus 4, you're like, I'm gonna lose, guys. Now I'm spawning, and now we're never on the same page, because I'm spawning, now you 3 are alone, now it's 4 versus 3, and it's like, but if we just stuck together, you know what I mean? It'd be really cool if you could turn, like, you had a map mode where you could turn the whole map into the DZ. So, like, just in the streets, you know? You could encounter other Division players in the streets. God, that would be a big change. What if they did that, guys? What if they did that? What if, like, you were running, you know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm saying? Like, what if you were, like, you leave the White House, you know what I mean? And, like, you were just gonna run down to, you know, down through there to this control point, You know what I mean? And along the way, you can bump into another division agent and he can kill you. You know what I mean? He can't jack your gear, but what if he can go rogue on you in the middle, outside of the DZ? That would be a game changer. Like the whole map is the DZ. When it could, like, you can get PvP the whole way. That would be really cool, man. And you just remove the whole "I'm jacking your gear" thing. It's just more like I've gone rogue, just like the rogues now, right? Like, you know, when you encounter rogues in the game, like you're clearing a control point and then 4 rogues kind of come running at you and shit like that. Like, they're not there to steal your gear. They're just there to kill you, right? That's cool. That's really cool. Imagine that. Imagine if you're fighting a control point and some random, you know, dude from wherever just comes running in and starts fighting your ass. You know what I mean? He's gone rogue on you, you know? That would be so cool. That would cause some utter chaos, right? But you can't steal your gear or anything like that, so it's just a good fight, right? It's just a good fight, battle of the builds. Good fight, you know? Good variable. Hey guys, make sure you hit the like and subscribe if you haven't done that. Also, I invite you to follow me over on Twitch. If you haven't done that yet, please do that. We're trying to grow the Twitch side of things, get it as big as we have it on the tube, on the YouTube. And if you're over there on Twitch, then I invite you to join us on YouTube. Cool, guys. So I look forward to kicking it with you this week. I think I am going to bounce. I gotta roll with it, make sure I'm nice and fresh for mañana and this coming week. So appreciate you hearing me rant about random crap and kicking it with me and keeping it real. Love all of you guys. I appreciate all the different perspectives and opinions. I do. We need all of them. We need to make this game better, and the only way we can do that is by voicing our opinions. So. But let's keep it real, and then let's catch each other on the other side. What do you say? Mañana?
Tuxedo out.
Flows, and that's how it goes.